you remember that doctor that we were talking about last time?
The surgeon that got put in prison.
He got put in prison, bro.
You know, I tell you
What
something
was the
funny.
story?
His
Do you
name.
remember the story?
Really, really. He actually wrote a book. I need to get, if Zach can find this. There's a black surgeon in prison. It was really heartbreaking. When you read the report, bro,
It was like a miscarriage of justice, bro.
it's just like what happened to that black pediatric registrar consultant who, I think she's a Muslim, who came back from.
Oh yeah, yes, him.
Yes.
Oh my days! If you read the story,
you know his actual son, left medical school.
Yeah, he was. Huh?
Can you summarize it? I don't know what it is.
So basically, what happened was he from what I remember from the report I read, there's something happened. He's firstly amazing surgeon, like impeccable surgeon, yeah. And his life,
Nigerian, right?
No, I think Congo or Senegalese. One of these. He basically came from a family of I think 9 or 10 children, lived in a very disaster, like
basically the Francis Ngannou
of surgeons, yeah.
Of surgeons,
and he I think he got married. His wife was an English nurse. He came to the UK basically, mama, with nothing, and all his heart, all his efforts, and he's super intelligent. Anyway, got into med school, became a doctor, became a surgeon. Bro, you know the process of becoming a surgeon back then.
You were going to become a surgeon, right?
Yeah, I was in surgery, then I kind of, went to emergency medicine. Then I was like, I don't know who my kids are anymore, so I'm going to become a GP. But that's another story.
Oh, it's too much time.
You don't have the time family. So this guy, he when he got became a surgeon, became very well established. But and back then, to become a surgeon in Yani, we're talking 70s, 80s. This is like, I'm sorry to say, it's really like institutional racism to another level. And obviously, he's a black surgeon who's come from a difficult part of Africa, and he was, basically everyone loved him. Something happened to a patient. There was a delay in their management, but it wasn't his fault. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I hope I'm not mistaken,
what
was it, Zach?
Perforated bowel.
But it was something to do with, to go back in, the consultant anaesthetist, or one of them, they didn't book it properly or something. There was something like that, and then somehow the blame was shifted on him.
What happened?
Last minute anaesthetist was delayed with another case, so they had to get another anaesthetist.
So it took long. A person died, right? Or happened?
So what happened was, obviously, there are deaths in surgery to this day. You've got anesthetic risk, you've got post-surgical complications, you've got complications on the surgical table.
Yeah.
Someone could have anything that can happen. Obviously, the risk is you try to minimize risk as possible, as much as possible. So anyway, I'm under the impression that when it all happened, it's like, oh my God, this is really terrible. And, they've spoken to the family.
For example, 2 minutes.
So then they went to the tribunal.
Who went to the tribunal?
He was told to come to the tribunal, and he said in his book, I'm just trying to recall, he said, when I walked in, all of the candidates who were waiting were Asian and black. And he goes, at that point, I was like, oh no. So obviously when he sat in, there was, the tribunal was being taken place, and then someone stopped it. I don't know if it was like some advocate or, in quotation marks, a judge. If you read the report, he actually said, we need to stop the case. Can you please leave the room? And he was like, why? Why? Why'd you leave the room for? The surgeon was told to leave the room.
Okay, right.
He goes, there's been a miscarriage of justice here, and I think this is now a criminal case.
What do you mean, with regards to him?
With regards to him, that this is actually... Then when he came back in, he goes, this is manslaughter.
Whoa.
It went from possible clinical negligence, which wasn't on his case, that he'd done nothing wrong, slapped with manslaughter.
So everybody in that case was Asian or black?
No, not in that case. So the GMC obviously or the General Medical Council, there were people waiting for their turn, right? He goes, and all these people were basically Asian or black, and they were waiting to be basically judged, if you want, yeah. And he goes, then it went to is it criminal court or what? It's basically it was manslaughter. Magistrates. He went to I don't know how many years he done.
He done a bird, bro.
He learned Arabic. I think he learned Arabic in prison.
Is it? He done a bird, bro.
Oh, so they actually charged him?
Yes,
yeah,
man.
Bobo.
The guy
went to prison.
The charge went to prison.
Did he get compensated?
I don't know. You know when he came back.
And what happened?
So when he came back, he was like, he goes, I want nothing to do with this anymore. They were like, oh no, you can, it's education, but like someone's vomited on your food.
Did they clear him after?
I don't.
The case was tried in October, November 2013. he was found not guilty of perjury charge, but guilty by a majority of 10 to 2, the minimum required to convict of the manslaughter charge.
Just look at
He
that.
was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison.
Subhanallah.
Served 15 months, including 2 times in prisons in Suffolk, many miles from his family who had to make long journeys.
So 1 second. So they cleared him of what?
Perjury.
Perjury.
What's
Like
perjury?
Lying. But the thing is, what my thing is, this one I'm trying to say.
But why was it manslaughter though? That's what I want.
This is what I can't understand. And even though in his book he said, look, this, he's not defending. He said this had nothing to do with me. It's like that registrar, the pediatric registrar. That child who nearly, I think, died had nothing to do with her, but it was the consultant who'd made the mistake. Obviously, it is what it is. The consultant, I think, from what I recall, was Caucasian, and there was some issue there. And then they were like, right, scapegoat. So she they took her out, and then she had to fight. And I think the BMJ got involved, the BMA got involved. But like, this is wrong. You can't blame her. She's done nothing wrong. And then they gave her the position back. But the problem is, once you've been traumatized, do you know the?
So he's not practicing anymore.
I think he stopped, and his
he's
son.
part-time now.
Yeah, but I think his son left medical school. He goes, I'm not.
Doing sales.
Yeah, you can imagine his
No
son.
way.
His son in his final year goes, I'm not. No, I've seen my dad go through this. He goes, that means no one is safe.
Do they talk to you about this when you go through medical school?
They don't, but you know what they do? They did it with the junior doctors that were my trainees, and one of them said something. I was so really upset. The GMC do like these talks in your final, like in your intern year as a junior doctor. They were all these, imagine all these like first year, second year doctors. There's fresh work behind the ears, come straight out. They're in this lecture hall. GMC say, yeah, this is the situation, blah 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 blah. And by the way, usually the suicide rate, if you get GMC investigated, is like, I think 1 in 10, 1 in like some. And this junior doctor, yeah, basically they commit suicide when they get a letter from GMC.
Basically, harikiri.
Is it true though?
It is. There was a case recently. ITU consultant killed himself. Sri Lankan consultant.
Why?
Because it's like they've done nothing.
You spent your whole life studying, and it's very stressful.
And you're like this, Bobo. You're like,
yeah.
Oh my.
And it's a life that potentially.
And to be frank, yeah, you don't know anything else. This is your. Someone's gonna.
I can vouch for that, because if you weren't a doctor, I don't know what the hell you would be doing, blood. You're practically useless at everything else. I'm joking.
Zach, where's the power?
X-Man, exactly.
Zach, where's the power socket?
I'm joking.
Where's the power socket, Zach?
If you were a doctor, what would you be, bro?
To be fair,
Okay.
okay.
The Hack McCoy's a doctor, bro.
Yeah, I know.
honestly,
God. Don't say actor,
Nah,
bro.
he was acting.
Don't say
Wait.
actor. Oh, snap. If you weren't... God.
C'est une catastrophe.
God.
Mr. Neo.
Hey, bro, you'd be rescuing people from the Matrix. That's what you'd be doing. Okay, if you weren't fighting or involved in anything...
I'll be fighting in something else.
Honestly, bro, like...
Fighting for my life.
Any other job, bro,
Like,
I'll be fighting.
so you'll be doing
I'll be
like,
sales and beating up
aggressive
people.
sales.
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
Like Gordon Gekko with the whole spine. Or Wolf of Wall Street.
Buy this.
Yeah, exactly. Now.
I would have got into cooking.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was in, junior master
Oh, you
chef.
did say that, man. What,
Yes.
You were actually in it?
No, I was invited.
Then what happened?
I didn't do it.
You got yeah, like proper.
Not now, not obviously,
no, properly,
but yeah, proper, yeah. I used to love cooking home.
But what do you mean not now?
What's your speciality? Kufte.
No, bro.
Oh, salut!